Hello everyone, welcome to Equal To, and this is episode 13 of our number systems playlist. If you haven't watched the past 12 videos yet, I'll give you a link, you can watch them first. Now in this section we are looking at operations in real numbers. Even in the last video we have been looking at operation in real numbers, and we completed the last video with 3 inference, right? So with that we are starting with this video. In this video we are going to solve a few examples as well, starting with example 15, and here you have to simplify the given expressions. Okay, now by simplify here they mean you just have to evaluate it, right? You have to expand it and try to group terms together and perform the operations, right? That is what they want by, what they want, and that is what they mean by simplify here. Okay, so the answers that you might get might not actually be smaller or simplified when compared to the question, but it doesn't matter, you just have to evaluate the question anyways. Okay, now starting with this question, so this subdivision is 5 plus root 7 times 2 plus root 5. Okay, so 5 plus root 7 multiplied by 2 plus root 5. So how are we going to exactly solve this? Right, so what you are going to do is that you are going to take this 5, you are going to multiply that with 2, you are going to multiply that with root 5 as well. Okay, now after doing this, you are going to take the 7, that is root 7, and you are going to multiply that with 2, and you are going to multiply that with root 5. Okay, so these are the things that we are going to do. So let us start. So first doing the multiplication by 5. So 5 times 2, 5 multiplied by 2 plus 5 multiplied by root 5, and that is all for 5. Now we are going to do it for root 7. So root 7 times, it's root 7 times 2 plus root 7 times root 5. I just wrote it the other way, but essentially it's the same. Okay, root 5 into root 7. Okay, now we will further evaluate this. So 5 times 2, 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, plus 5 multiplied by root 5 is 5 root 5, plus root 7 multiplied by 2 is 2 root 7, and this is, you can bring 5 and 7 under the same root, so it's under root 5 multiplied by 7, so that can be further simplified as root 35. So the final answer is 10 plus 5 root 5 plus 2 root 7 plus root 35. So this is the answer. So let me just bring it a little down here. So this is the answer to this question. So as you can see, this is not exactly even as simple as the term given in the question. Okay, so 5 plus root 7 multiplied by 2 plus root 5 seems simpler than the expression that we have got, but this is what they do, this is what they want you to do in this question. Sorry, that was a tongue twister for me. Okay, now moving on to the next example. So it might not always have to be this much longer, there might be cases where it would be smaller. Okay, now moving on to the next subdivision of the same question, we have 5 plus root 5 multiplied by 5 minus root 5. Okay, now there is a smarter way to solve the same question that I'll tell you after doing it the longer way. Okay, so by doing the same method you can solve this question as well. So 5 times 5, 5 multiplied by 5, and 5 multiplied by root 5, again root 5 multiplied by 5, and root 5 multiplied by root 5. Okay, so this is something that we can do, that is obvious for you. Okay, so 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. I'm just going to do it straight away. Okay, or let me just write it. Okay, I don't want to skip a lot of steps and that might be confusing for you. So 5 multiplied by 5 plus 5 multiplied by, sorry, it is not plus. Why is it not plus? Because we have minus here, right? It's minus root 5. So when you multiply 5 with minus root 5, it becomes minus 5 root 5. Okay. And the next term is root 5 multiplied by 5, and the last term is minus root 5 into root 5. Okay, because we have minus here, whatever gets multiplied to this also gets the minus value. Okay, I hope you are clear with that. Now it's 25 minus 5 root 5 plus 5 root 5 minus 5. Okay, root 5 times root 5 multiplied by root 5 is actually 5. Okay, and we have a plus 5 root 5 and minus 5 root 5. So these two things get cancelled. Okay, so they are minus 5 root 5 is subtracted from 5 root 5 and that gives you 0. Okay, so in the next step you just have 25 minus 5 and that gives you a value 20. Now in this case 20 is actually simpler and it is in a simplified form when compared to the question here. Okay, so the word simplify might actually make sense for this question, but it doesn't always have to do. Okay, now I told you at the start of this question that we have another smart way to solve this question. Now we'll be seeing that now. Okay, so there is this identity, or you could say a formula, or whatever the thing that you want to tell it is. Okay, so it is that a squared minus b squared can be expressed as a plus b multiplied by a minus b. Okay, so this is a property. Now we can use this to evaluate this particular question. Okay, and that would make it far simpler. Now in this question, this is of the form of RHS, right? The question is actually in the form of RHS. How is that? A equals 5 and b equals root 5, and it is actually of the form 5 plus root 5 multiplied by 5 minus root 5, right? So it's actually of the form of RHS. Now you can say that it can be represented also in the form of a squared minus b squared, right? So it can be 5 squared minus root 5 squared. Okay, so obviously since it is in the form of RHS, a plus b into a minus b, you can express it as a squared minus b squared. So it is 5 squared minus root 5 squared. Okay, so this can further be simplified as 25 minus 5, and that would also give you an answer of 20. So the answer remains the same. Obviously the answer should remain the same, right? But this is another way which is far more simpler than the first way. Okay, so you don't have to actually multiply or evaluate those things. You can use this a squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b into a minus b and just easily solve this question. Okay, now we are moving to the next question, next subdivision of this question, which is root 3 plus root 7 the whole square. Okay, now this is of the form a plus b the whole square, right? This is another identity that we know. Okay, so a plus b the whole square is a very common formula that we already know, which is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, right? Now we are just going to apply the values of a and b here. Now in this case a equals root 3 and b equals root 7, but it actually doesn't matter what is the value of a or b. It is interchangeable because it's just addition, right? The order doesn't really matter. Okay, now applying this formula here, we get root 3 squared plus 2 times 2 multiplied by root 3 into root 7 plus root 7 squared. Okay, I've just applied the values of assumed a and b right here in this formula. Okay, I've just applied that. Now evaluating this, root 3 squared is 3. and 2 into root 7 into root 3 is 2 times 2 root 21. Okay, because root 3 into root 7 you can take it under a common root, that is 2 root 21 plus 7 root 2 squared, sorry, root 7 squared is 7. Okay, so this 3 and 7 you can add it and you will get 10, and it is 10 plus 2 root 21, and that is the answer to this question. Okay, root 3 plus root 7 the whole square, its actual value could be, or it can also be written as 10 plus 2 root 21, and that is the simplified form of this question, and we have used this formula, a plus b the whole square, right? I think it's quite popular, I don't have to explain it much. Now moving to the next question here, which is also similar to an identity that we saw, which is root 11 minus root 7 multiplied by root 11 plus root 7. This is the question. Now also this is of the form a plus b into a minus b. So that can be obviously written as a squared minus b squared. Okay, we are just going to use this formula where a is root 11 and b is root 7. Okay, now using this you can write it as a squared minus b squared, right? So root 11 squared minus root 7 squared, that is 11 minus 7, and that gives you a value of 4, and 4 is the answer to this question. Okay, this is very simple and very easy to do. You just have to, okay, let me just leave it there. You just have to know this particular thing, a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square, and this is a very important thing that you will be using in a lot of formulas, lot of problems, so it's better for you to have this in mind. Okay, so yeah, I think that is all the things that we are going to see in this video. We have just solved one example question here and we have simplified these expressions. Okay, I hope you understood this. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Bye for now.